Welcome back, my beautiful students. We are now going to be doing example 4, and we're still trying to show that two triangles in this picture are congruent. And the way we do that, we must show that all three sides and all three angles are congruent. Now, if you're looking at this picture, you're probably like, Miss Long, there's a lot of triangles in that picture. What exactly are we trying to show is congruent? Well, I can help you out. Don't you worry. I'm there to help you. I'm always going to be there. Okay, so we're trying to show that triangle ACE is congruent to this triangle over here. So we're trying to show that this triangle and triangle DBC, we're trying to show that each of those are congruent. Now, if you guys notice, looking at this picture, you're probably like, there's a lot going on in that picture. There's a lot of overlapping triangles and overlapping angles and sides, and it's a little confusing. Well, I agree, you guys. I completely agree. So, I recommend if you ever have overlapping triangles, even though they're besties and they like to be together, we must separate them. We're going to force them to separate. I know it's a little mean, but the triangles will be okay, I promise. Okay, so I'm going to redraw my yellow trace triangle and my orange trace triangle, but I'm going to draw them separately. Okay, that way it's not confusing, they're not overlapping, I don't have all these weird markings in my picture that make things confusing. So I'm trying to minimize the confusion right now. Okay, so I'm going to redraw triangle ACE right now, so, and again, I'm not the best drawer, so just don't judge me too much. All right, so triangle ACE, so something like this. And I did not leave a lot of room for my other triangles. So let's see, I'm going to draw my other triangle, I guess down here kind of. Sorry guys, I did not plan this very well. I apologize. Let's see. So this one's kind of like this, then this, then this. Something like this. It's not perfect, but it'll be okay. Okay, so ideally I was trying to draw them like side by side, but of course my plan didn't work out, but it's okay. When things don't work out, you just adapt. Okay, so this triangle is AEC, so AEC, and this triangle is BDC, so B to the D to the C. Okay, and I'm going to mark in my picture what is already marked in as congruent, which is what is listed down here. So I know that AC is congruent to BC. Well, actually, these are supposed to mark congruent, but then I also have other things marked in my picture. So I know that angle A and B are congruent, so I'm going to mark those first. Okay, and then I also know AE, this tick mark pertains to this whole side. So AE is congruent to BD. So AE is congruent to BD. All right, then I'm also given this lovely information right here. Okay, so I also know that A to the C is congruent to BC and D to the C, so DC right here, is congruent to EC. There we go. Okay, so that's all the information that was given to me. It was either drawn in my picture already or they gave me some additional information. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to show that all three sides and all three angles are congruent. Let's see what we have so far. Okay, so for my sides, do you spot any sides that are already marked congruent in your picture? Holy hot dog, I see segment AE is congruent to segment BD, and that would be because they are given. It was given to me. Okay, so I have one side done. Check. All right, I still need two sides though. So the next two sides I spot are congruent. Our sides AC and BC. They both have the same amount of tick marks. They both have two nifty tick marks. So I'm going to say A to the C is congruent to B to the C. And that is also because it was given to me. So I got two sides done. Check. All right, and I also spot a third side. Do you guys see the third side that's already marked congruent? Holy hot dog, it is CE and DC. So I can also say segment C to the E is congruent to segment D to the C. And it's also because it was given to me. Nice. Yes, I have 3 sides that are congruent now. Awesome job. All right, so now I need to show that 3 of my angles are congruent. Now, if I look at my picture, so far I only see 1 pair of angles that are congruent. Do you guys see the angles that are congruent? Precisely, my talented and intelligent students. It would be angle A and angle B. So I also know that angle A is congruent to angle B, also because it was given to me. So I got another side, check, or another angle. All right, but oh no, I don't have any more angles marked as congruent. So what am I going to do? I must show that all sides and all angles are congruent. I showed all the sides were congruent, but now I'm missing 2 of my angles. Oh no. Guys, so this is when the reflexive property is also going to be really helpful. Guys, so we always use the reflexive property if triangles have shared sides or shared angles. Which if you see here, yes, I know that the triangles kind of share parts of the sides. Like this side is a side of this triangle, the orange one, but it's only part of the side of AC. So I can't say that DC is a shared side because it's not an entire side of both triangles. It's only the entire side of this orange triangle right here. Okay, so I don't have any completely overlapping shared sides, but do you guys spot an angle in my picture that is the same exact angle in each of my triangles? It might be helpful to look over here. Do we see an angle letter that is the exact same letter as another angle on my other triangle? Do you guys see it? Do we see it? I think you saw it. Do you guys see how both of these triangles have an AC? Both triangles share this lovely angle right there. So guess what, you guys? I can say that angle C is congruent to itself. And like I said earlier, this is because the reflexive property. Whenever we say something is equal or congruent to itself, that means it will be the reflexive property. So there you go. Okay, you guys, I'm almost there. I've shown that 2 angles are congruent, but now I need a final angle or a third angle to be shown congruent. Okay, so if I know, which I'm going to mark in my picture that I now know that these 2 angles are congruent. Guys, so if I'm looking at my pictures, I know that 2 of the angles in my triangles are congruent. What tells me that the final or third angle in the triangles have to be congruent? Nice job, you guys. It is the third angle theorem. Third angle theorem. I like to say it with a country accent. Third angle theorem. There we go. Guys, so if I know 2 of the angles are congruent, the third angles have to be congruent because if angles have to be 180, if I added the 2 congruent angles together and subtracted from 180, I would get the same thing. Okay, so I now know that these 2 are congruent. Okay, so in my separate triangles, angle D and E are separated, but if you see in your picture, they're not. So technically, I shouldn't call these angle D and E because in the picture, there's a lot going on at E and there's a lot going on at D. So I know that it's really easy to say angle E and D, I know. But technically, if we look at the original, there are more than one angle at angle D or at point E and D. So technically, I can't call that. So I'm going to name it with 3 letters. So we're talking about this angle right here. We're talking about this angle and this angle. Okay, so that would be angle BDC. So I'm going to say angle BDC, which if you see here it says BDC as well. So there you go. So angle BDC is congruent to angle AEC, which again, AEC is how it looks over here too. So when in doubt, if you're kind of second guessing if you should name an angle with 1 or 3 letters, no matter what, you can always name an angle with 3 letters. So that should be the route you should go if you're ever questioning like, oh, can I call it with 1 letter or 3 letters? I don't know. Well, if you don't know, just call it with 3 letters. Then you're safe. It's never wrong if you list 3 letters. Okay, so this is because third angle theorem. Third angle theorem. There we go. And guess what, you guys? I now have 3 angles that are congruent. Yeah, we're super excited. So now that I know that all sides and all angles are congruent, guess what? My triangles are congruent, and I'm super excited. So now I can write my nifty triangle congruency statement. Okay, which I'm going to look at these triangles when I write my triangle congruency statement. Okay, so how would you name this first triangle? It really does not matter how you name it, as long as you list 3 of the vertex points, which are the pointy parts. Like if you touch it, it'd be like, ow, that hurts. So don't touch it. Okay, so I'm going to say triangle. I don't know, I'm going to say triangle ACE. I like that. E or ACE. Triangle A to the C to the E is congruent to triangle. Now again, I like to trace my triangle and kind of take note of the marking. So angle A has 1 arc above it, so I can put a 1. Angle C has 2 arcs above it, so I'm going to put a 2. And angle E has 3. So I need to go from 1 arc to 2 arcs to 3 arcs. Okay, so on my triangle, which angle has 1 arc? Angle B does. So I need to start with 1 arc, then 2 arcs, then 3 arcs. So angle B. Then which angle has 2 arcs? That would be C, so BC, and then which angle has 3 arcs? Holy hot dog, it would be D. Guys, so now it shows the corresponding parts, which also, if you see here, angle A and B are congruent, and they're in the correct spots. Angle C is congruent to itself, so it's in the correct spot as well. All right, and then you can also see like CE is congruent to DC, so CE is 2 and a 3, and DC is also a 2 and a 3. So everything lines up perfectly, and yeah. So guess what, you guys? We're done. Nice job. So that would be my triangle congruency statement. Way to go.